Hey, curious minds, welcome back to the deep dive.
Glad you could join us.
Today, we're tackling a story that's, well, it's thousands of years old, but still feels incredibly current. We're talking about the dramatic separation of Abram and Lot, straight out of Genesis chapter 13.
Right. And our mission in this deep dive really is to unpack this compelling narrative. We want to pull out some profound insights into, conflict resolution, decision-making under pressure, and even the nature of covenants and promises.
Exactly. It feels foundational.
It really is. Offers far more than just historical detail.
Absolutely. And for this deep dive, we're drawing from the 21st century King James Version, specifically excerpts from Abram and Lot Separate, a covenant of land and legacy. It gives us that classic poetic language, but, maybe a bit more accessible for modern ears.
Yeah, it's a good choice for this.
So, okay, let's set the scene. They've just come back from Egypt, and the text tells us Abram and Lot aren't just, comfortable. They are incredibly rich.
Yeah.
We're talking massive amounts of cattle, silver, gold. It's almost a first world problem, even back then, isn't it?
Nah, you could say that. Too much success, too many blessings.
And suddenly your shared space becomes a pressure cooker.
Exactly. Genesis 13, verses 5 to 7, really highlights this. It says, Lot, who came with Abram, also had significant flocks and herds and tents. Their combined stuff, their possessions, became so immense that the land, it just couldn't sustain them together.
Right, not enough room.
Not just room, but resources. Think water, pasture, stretched thin. And this led directly, the text says, to strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle.
The staff are fighting now, too.
Precisely. And to add another layer of complexity, you've got the Canaanites and the Perizzites already living there.
Oh, right. So it wasn't empty land.
Not at all, which made any new resource claims or, expansions much more challenging. It really shows how quickly abundance can breed friction if you don't manage it with foresight.
So their very success, their blessing of abundance, ironically led to this friction between them. Is that a common pattern, do you think, even today?
Oh, absolutely. It's a powerful reminder that growth isn't always straightforward. Sometimes the very success you build creates its own friction points.
Right.
It forces you to reevaluate your foundations, your relationships.
And that's exactly what happens here.
It is.
But then Abram steps in. And this is where, for me, his character truly shines. Instead of letting the dispute escalate, maybe pulling rank,
Which he could have.
he approaches Lot with this incredibly powerful, almost heartfelt appeal. He says, let there be no strife, I pray thee, between me and thee.
And between my herdsmen and thy herdsmen, for we are brethren. Yeah.
We're family, basically.
And this isn't just a nice request. It's strategic, it's leadership, and frankly, quite countercultural for the time.
Yeah.
As the elder, the patriarch, Abram had every right to claim the best land, to assert his seniority.
You'd expect that, right?
Definitely. But he defers. He offers Lot the first choice. He says, is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. Then he lays it out. If thou wilt take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if thou depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
Wow.
It's a profound statement, prioritizing peace, the relationship, over immediate personal gain.
It's such a surprising display of selflessness, especially considering, the cultural norms of the time, primogeniture, tribal leadership.
Exactly. The expectation would have been for Abram to make the choice, or at least strongly guide Lot's choice.
Sure.
By giving Lot the choice, Abram takes a real risk. He might get the less desirable bit of land.
Yeah.
But it shows a leader who understands the true value of, harmony. Familial harmony, and maybe someone who trusts in something bigger, a broader providence beyond just what he can see right now.
Yeah.
It really raises an important question for us, I think. What's the true cost of letting conflict fester versus the perhaps unseen value of proactive conciliation?
That is a powerful question. And it leads us right into Lot's decision. So Abram makes this incredibly generous offer. What does Lot do? Well, the text says he lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan.
Right. He looks around.
That it was well watered everywhere.
Yeah.
It even compares it to the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. It sounds pretty good.
And here's where we see that classic human tendency, maybe, to go for the immediate, shiny option. Lot's eyes are drawn to this lush, well-watered plain of Jordan. It looks ideal, for his livestock, for future prosperity.
Seems like a no-brainer from a purely practical standpoint.
It does. So he chose all the plain of Jordan and journeyed east, separating from Abram. But then the source subtly drops this. Well, it's a bombshell, really, in verse 12.
Okay.
Lot pitched his tent toward Sodom.
Ah, okay. Toward Sodom.
And then right after that, the stark contrast in verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly.
Oh, wow. So he picks the place that looks amazing, like the Garden of Eden. But it puts him right next door to extreme wickedness. That's quite the irony.
It's the ultimate irony, isn't it? He chose what looked best, what seemed most prosperous, but it drew him closer, geographically and maybe culturally, to this morally compromised area.
Do you think he knew? I mean, did he genuinely consider the moral side of settling near Sodom, or was the land just too tempting?
It's hard to say definitively what was in Lot's mind. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, his choice, while seeming pragmatic and, visually appealing, it really highlights the potential dangers of prioritizing immediate advantage without considering the broader implications, the character of your neighbors, the values of the place.
It's easy to be swayed by what looks good on the surface.
Very easy. It's a common trap, perhaps, prioritizing immediate gratification over maybe deeper long-term values.
Okay, so Lot makes his choice, moves towards Sodom, Abram stays. And then something incredibly significant happens right after this separation. The text makes a point of the timing. And the Lord said unto Abram after Lot was separated from him.
Yes, that timing is crucial. It's after Abram's act of profound generosity, this peacemaking gesture.
Right.
And that's when, in Genesis 13, verses 14 through 17, we get this comprehensive promise renewed and expanded to Abram. The Lord tells him, "Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art, northward and southward and eastward and westward."
Basically, look everywhere.
Everywhere. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed forever. And when we talk about covenant here, it's more than just a promise. In the ancient world, a covenant was this deeply binding agreement, often initiated by the greater party, like God here. It carried huge legal, spiritual weight.
So this is a big deal, a formal confirmation.
Huge. And it's not just about land. It's also about this incredible future. And I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth.
Oh.
So that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. An uncountable number of descendants.
That's a staggering promise, especially for someone who at this point doesn't have children yet, right?
Exactly. And then there's the command. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it, and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto thee.
Like physically claim it.
It's a symbolic act, yeah. Like taking possession, pacing out the boundaries of the promise. It's powerful imagery.
And what's so striking here, as you said, is the timing. This divine promise, reiterated, expanded, it comes after his act of selfless generosity.
Right.
It contrasts so sharply with Lot's choice, which was based purely on immediate sight, on what looked good right now.
Precisely. It underscores a fundamental theme, maybe. Sometimes letting go of what appears good in the short term actually positions you for something far greater in the long term, something divinely secured, perhaps.
And how does Abram respond to this incredible promise?
Well, his response is also significant. Verse 18 tells us he immediately removed his tent and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron.
Okay, a new location.
A new location within the promised area. And crucially, and built there an altar unto the Lord.
Ah, the altar again. We've seen him do this before.
Yes. And as we've discussed, building an altar wasn't just personal devotion. It was a public declaration, a spiritual claim marker on the land. It signifies his continued devotion, his trust in this unseen promise, solidifying this place as one of divine encounter.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. To quickly recap this deep dive for you listening, we saw how prosperity itself can create growing pains, leading to that inevitable strife between Abram and Lot's people. Then we witnessed Abram's really remarkable peacemaking, that radical generosity, offering Lot the first choice of the land.
A key moment.
Then we explored Lot's choice, seemingly pragmatic, picking the fertile plain, but ultimately fraught because it drew him dangerously close to Sodom.
Right, the choice based on sight.
And finally, that profound, unconditional divine promise given to Abram, significantly, after his selfless act during the separation.
Yeah, it's quite a sequence.
So bringing it all together, what's the big takeaway here?
Well, I think this deep dive into Abram and Lot's separation really shows us how choices, even those made with seemingly good intentions, can lead down very different paths, lead to very different destinies. It really invites us to consider, doesn't it? When you're faced with a significant decision, are you drawn primarily to the immediate allure, to what looks best on the surface?
Like Lot looking at the plane.
Exactly. Or do you consciously try to factor in deeper values, maybe a broader, perhaps unseen horizon, like Abram seemed to? It's something to think about. And as we wrap up, we'd love to hear from you too. If there's maybe a particular verse or an insight from this deep dive, or maybe even one of our previous ones that has really stuck with you, maybe drop it in the comments. It's always interesting to see what resonates with people.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Definitely let us know. And thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope this exploration has given you some new insights or maybe just sparked some further thought. We really appreciate you tuning in and being part of the conversation. If you enjoyed this, maybe consider sharing it with someone else who loves digging into these kinds of stories and topics.
Yeah, spread the word.
Until next time, keep exploring.